Hello and welcome to Heather and Hops. My name is Kat and I'm a knitter based in Hertfordshire in the United Kingdom, and this is my little space on the internet where I have documented my knitting journey from Project 1 through to now, where we've cultivated a lovely knitting community and learnt quite a lot about the whole fibre world and making with wool. Just a heads up, Alex is brewing beer, so there might be the occasional bubbling. It's really nice for him to be brewing beer again. Alex is my husband if you're new here, and he's been doing other making projects lately with drinks and hasn't done beer for months, so it's really nice to hear some bubbling away, but hopefully that won't be too distracting. I have started off really quickly, so let's try and slow down a bit. I think I've got quite a lot to share, even though this morning when I was like, oh, I'll record today, I was like, oh, maybe I don't, because I've got some gift knitting that I'm not going to share on here if I can help it out until I've given them. I have made myself a hot drink, and this is a lovely hot drink from Höner. If you're watching, thank you so much. This is really lovely. It's such a treat to be drinking something that, you know, wasn't made by Alex or coffee and is decaffeinated and really festive. I think it's cinnamon and nutmeg. Also, this is so cool. I'll talk about it quickly. I've got quite a few things that are gifted that I'd like to share, but maybe I'll wait. But this is really cool. Just know that yeah, maybe we'll do a little mini episode on cute gifts, apart from a couple of other things that I will share, hopefully. I'm a bit weird about gifts. I always feel too treated, and I talk about this often, but even at family affairs and people, like even with Alex, there's something about my ability to show how I really feel. I like time to process, and I often just react with a more I'm not worthy and I can't believe someone thought of me, more than, or I don't really care. It's more I can't outwardly express how I really feel. Does that make sense? Does anyone else experience that? Yeah, I love giving and I love seeing people open things, but even then I'm still like, if you want to do it on your own and then we'll talk about it after, that would be great. Anyway, hi, I hope you're well. It's the festive season, so I opted to do a shorter video last week. I know that there's hundreds and hundreds of makers doing Vlogmas, and I don't really want to take away from that time for watching that. So if you are here, thank you. It's quite cool that you've chosen to be part of this little space, whether it's, you know, whatever time of year it is. It's really cool that you're here, so thank you. She's a waffly one. Let's talk about knitting. Let's just do it. I am wearing hand knit socks by my aunt that I've had for years. They are not looking their finest right now. I'm not sure what they are. I think they're Opal or Regia, something like that. I am wearing a Secret Summer Crop by Jessie May. I prefer the Secret Little Crop. I've talked about that in a lot of detail, so I won't talk about that. This is the Ranunculus by Midori Hirose, or Knit Cafe Midori, Knit Midori Cafe. Always get that wrong. And I knit this using Rowwork DK, which is one of my favourite yarns. I still haven't used it very much. I have 2 and a bit skeins left that I would love to do something with, but I keep putting it aside because it's just so special. This has seen so much wear. It is pilling, but I just love it so very much. And then finally I'm wearing an improvised hat that I knit using some Newton yarn that was very kindly gifted to me, and some Drops alpaca silk alpaca, that again was very kindly gifted to me, but it was improvised. I don't have, unless the notes are on Ravelry, which it appears that most of my hat notes aren't on Ravelry, so I do apologise. but if you know your gauge that you're using and you know the head circumference of the person you're knitting for, it's fairly easy to create a hat in 1x1 rib, which I seem to do all the time, and then I just changed the stockinette and did some decreases. So that's what I'm wearing. I've got loads of projects. I really didn't think I would, but let's do this one because it's something you will have, if you've been here for a while, you will have seen. But I knit it, let's start again. So this is the original Brackenside Pines. So she was an autumn number, a very cool autumn number, I thought. Alex helped me with this. I had this orange yarn and I'd started to knit with it, and then he was like, oh, it'd be really cool if you could do XYZ, and he did a little sketch of what he imagined it to look like, and then I knitted it. I had already come up with this motif a little bit pre-inspired by some trees, and yeah, I knit it using some yarn that I rescued from I think it's a Remakery? No. Maybe it is. It's in Perthshire, and it was Scotia Luxury Mohair, and it looks quite old, and it was actually made in Crieff. So it was picked up very locally, and I got, I think it was 6 50-gram balls for £2, and it is 13% nylon, no, it's 9% nylon, 13% wool and 78% mohair, so it's a very cool base, and I did wind it with another yarn, so it's this really fluffy orange yarn. And then the other oranges I used was this set, which is a crescendo. Wow, why is that difficult? That's like refurbishment. Crescendo. Put me in the bin. That I was sent by the lovely Maud, and it was like an orange to brown fade, and it didn't. The mohair definitely overpowered it, is what I'd say. It overpowered it more than I thought it would. But the colour is spiced chocolate, and it was really nice to knit with. It was strange to knit with superwash merino, but I really enjoy how this is and how it looks. And then I think the brown was Little Grey Sheep. Little Grey Sheep? No. Life in the Long Grass. That's who it was by, and the colour is Tiller. And I held it with another mohair that Alex picked up, which I will try and put in the doodah, but I don't have the ball band. So yeah, I love this. I did wear it quite a bit, but I was keeping it a secret for kind of obvious reasons. But yeah, I really love this. It's somewhat tempting to give it to someone else just because it will be a bit easier care than some of the other jumpers that I've got for gifts. But I really love it, and I really wanted to share it quite a while ago. Yeah, so it's a pattern that I created. There's a matching hat. I haven't knitted a hat using what I have left, but I don't think I've quite got enough left of this. But yeah, really fun, really autumny, and it's a bit of a shame that we are, 10 days left of autumn and then we're officially in winter. What is happening? Time is going. Yeah, I love the sleeves on this. I love the fit. It fits me pretty dang well, if I do say so myself. And yeah, it's a bottom-up construction. There's some exo colour work, as it's been referred to, with a bit of texture in there. It's drop shoulder. There's quite a few sizes. I did my best that I possibly could with that, and I did enjoy knitting it. And The other one, the other finished jumper that I will share with you is the second one that I've made up. I have the chart, and it's a very similar shape, not the same, but a very similar shape to the Bracken side. Now I love this. The knitted in yarn was, hey, little Mice here. Hey Audrey. Oh, that's sweet of you. You wanna come and say hi? She won't stay, but this is little Audrey if you haven't met her before. In-house kitten, sweet little pie, and just lovely. And the other yarn, I actually don't know what it is. It was a lace weight merino that I had in my wall pantry, unlabelled. So that's a bit useless, so I do apologise. I know that it was 600 metres, thereabouts, and I'm not sure what colours of Nutidin I used and how much of each, so again, this is not really anything that can be reproduced very easily, but I love it. And I've worn this loads. I will say it's not holding up the best considering how much I've worn it. It's already starting to pill quite a bit, and I do think that's the nature of an unspun yarn with a merino, like a superwash merino. It's just not going to be that hard wearing, and it's not the most dense knit. Again, I really prefer, from what I've experienced in my favourite jumpers that I've knitted, is I prefer a looser gauge, which doesn't bode well for longevity necessarily. It obviously all depends on whether you're using worsted weight or woolen spun, worsted weight woolen or worsted spun yarn, etc. But I do prefer a slightly looser gauge. I prefer how it sort of cuddles you rather than being so structured, and it's airy, and with my body temperature doing all the weird things, I find that a slightly looser gauge is better. And I love this jumper, so I did a slight fade using the Nutidin as best as I could. I started at the bottom and worked my way up. I love the texture at the bottom. I did some twisted rib, both here and on the cuffs. I opted not to do any shaping on the sleeves, and I really like how that's worked out. And yeah, maybe I should put this one on. I would put the mohair one on, but honestly that would probably be a bit warm today. I don't know why I'm swapping. I never do this. But anyway, I'm really happy with this, and I definitely think that a lace weight and an unspun is a good way to go. And what I might consider doing is using the lace weight Lopi in future. Something a little bit more rustic toothy is probably a better way of describing it, and gonna be a bit more hard wearing. But yeah, I love this jumper. I don't know why I haven't shown it previously. It's been finished for quite some time, but I have worn it really quite a lot. Alex will attest to that. And yeah, so really happy with this. I have thought about maybe sharing it. I don't know. I'm not sure. It would be, I'd have to knit it again, which I think I'd be okay with. I'd probably knit it in Pluto Lopi. It's a bit more easy to get hold of. It's a little bit harder wearing for me, but obviously some people find it a bit itchy. I don't. I really don't. I don't find things that itchy yet. Anyway, that is a lot of waffle. I feel like it's going to be one of those days, and I feel like I'm always a bit awkward talking about things I've fully created myself, if that makes sense. Yeah, I don't know, I'm sure there's a lot of you out there that feel the same. I know that I think I attract a lovely type of person, to be honest. I feel very grateful that the little community and bubble that seem to be around me are all very kind of thoughtful and just lovely. Okay, I'm waffling, but that's okay. What? Audrey hasn't this year climbed the tree, and I think that's quite nice. What are you doing? She would jump straight onto the jumper that I've just taken off. Hopefully that's alright. And the next one is fun, and this is sort of a Christmas gift, but he knows. He tried them on and claimed them. I think it was within 4 stripes. So these are for Alex. Then I think receiving hand knit socks is more than a wonderful gift, but I feel a bit guilty still that Alex's Christmas gift is a pair of socks. But I think there's a post going around Instagram that says, you know, the average pair of hand knit socks is 35,000 stitches in. So just imagine doing something. Is it 35,000 or 3.5? Either way, it's a lot of stitches. Maybe it's only 3.5. But doing it thinking of that person, and it's true. There's a lot of love that goes into knitting a sock, and even more that goes into 2. And I haven't put the other one on the blocker because it's the same, apart from the striping pattern goes the opposite way. These are, well, the colour is the Nutcracker colour by Lovely Stripy Cat Yarns, and we very kindly got to do a swap, and I was sent the non-superwash base. I know that there is a new and like official non-superwash no nylon base that Sarah's offering. I think it's Corriedale, which I'm really enjoying Corriedale. I need to knit some more in it, and by need I mean I have some Corriedale yarn from Annabelle Williams that I ripped back because it needs to be dyed before I knit it. I can't knit a vanilla pair of plain socks. Maybe I'll knit it with a texture, we'll see, but basically it's not a need, it's more a want, and would really like to test out that Corriedale base. I was sent a 400g skein of this, I believe, which is a contrast colour that, to me, it gives me mince pie vibes, even though it's not very mince pie, and also maybe like the wood of a nutcracker, but I love it. It's a really lovely base to work with, I found it to be so. I don't know whether Sarah will have any more of this base in particular, but the way that it's taken the colour, the non-superwash, I think is wonderful. There's a real sense of depth, a little bit of tonality to it, which I love. And like I said, Alex came to these before I could even consider knitting them for myself, and it's lucky that we can share socks even though my feet are smaller. And I think because mine are, I don't know, we can share socks, and that's totally awesome if you ask me. But I did toe up, that's my preferred method these days. I believe it's a Flegel heel actually, but I'm not 100% sure. I like a heel flap and gusset that goes straight. I think this will fit Alex a lot better. So instead of knitting and purling back and forth to get a straight heel, you're knitting back and forth, knitting 2 together and purling 2 together, or slip knitting together and purling together either end, but going 1 stitch further each way, so then it increases rather than goes straight up. I hope that makes sense. And yeah, we both don't really need the longest socks, so I do have really quite a lot, which is great that I do toe up because I can keep doing this. It might be that I do a pair of plain with like shorties with broken stripes at the top, because I might be able to get a full pair and a stripy pair and some shorties out of this, but I really love this colour. I'm so grateful that I got the chance to knit with it. It made me feel festive, and I hadn't previously felt that festive. And it's not that I'm not religious. I don't really love for want of a better word, commercial side of Christmas. I just really love that warm fuzzy feeling, and it's that sense of togetherness and just being able to cozy up and hibernate a little bit, and that's what this gifted me, so thank you so much, Sarah. Yeah, and this little bag is very cute, but this was handmade for me 2 Christmases ago by one of my best friends, and it's just currently where I'm keeping this Christmassy yarn. So yeah, really happy with these, and they did knit themselves, to be honest. And it's taken a fair amount not to cast on another pair, because I do have some socks that I've cast on twice now, and I'm looking at them like they're going to be really good as a gift, but again, I think I said it last time, I'm not totally excited by how it feels to knit, so I'm a bit maybe I will knit something else and say that there'll be a gift further down the line, because I think they'd be fine actually as a spring knit when the weather's a bit warmer. I don't know, I'm just not loving it, and maybe I just need to knuckle down and get it done so that they're done, and I'll feel probably quite a bit happier and a bit more excited about casting on some other things, which I'm really excited to do. Okay, I think I'm slightly, I don't know, very excited to be talking. I'm definitely feeling better, thanks to you if you sent me well wishes, because I was really under the weather until probably Tuesday last week, and then I felt quite a lot better, and I'm still having moments of but I do feel a lot better and a lot more myself, which is probably just a bit of a weirdo, but yes, I'm very excited to be knitting and spinning and doing the things. And I only have one other knitting project to share, I think. Yes, I have a spinning project that I'm excited to share with you. And you have to excuse this has been sat on by Audrey quite a lot. But this is my Nordiska. I love her. This is a pattern by Caitlin Hunter, Boyland Knitworks, and it is a V-neck raglan with colourwork motif on the bottom. It's top down, so you knit back and forth almost until you divide for the sleeves, and then you get to do this fun colourwork. And I think I'm figuring out that with Caitlin Hunter I need to go up a size to get it to fit right to what is recommended for my bust. And maybe it's because I have weird shoulders and things, but I feel like that's just how it goes. I've had a lot more success knitting Caitlin's patterns going up one size and down a yarn weight. I haven't on this pattern. I've used as recommended, and I'm really happy with it. I have knit this before. I knit it using colours that I wasn't happy with, and to be honest, yarn bases that don't make me smile. This I am much more enjoying. This is Holst Super Soft. Oh dear. Which comes in cute little cakes, so you don't have to do anything with it. You can purchase it on a cone, which is also really great to know. I am using this, which is another cone. This I used on a vintage project that I still can't wait to share, and I will very soon, I promise. So I'm using a black and a kind of heathered mustard. And then I'm using my own hand spun. And it's really been very exciting to knit with this. This was, if you've been with me for a while, you'll probably be like, I know, and this is a Woolen Witch art bat that I spun, and I love this, not just because I think the colours are right up my alley at the moment. I'm really enjoying black and green and grey. I've always been someone green's always been my favourite colour. I've always enjoyed wearing black, and grey is very easy, so that's not really a surprise. She says wearing a slightly grey and red, but anyway, I love this. But the fact that Steph spent time carding it herself and saving it from going to landfill just makes it feel that much specialer. More special. And there's a little bit of Angelina in here. Is that right? Yeah, Angelina, not Stellina. I should look at what the difference is, but it's sort of iridescent rather than. So it is a bit sassy for me, to be honest. But I love it. And I really like how it knit up. I think the contrast, I was a bit like, oh, it's not that strong, but now it's finished. I think the contrast's perfect between the green and the mustard. I think any more, and I wouldn't have loved it quite as much as I do. I have added a few extra rows into both chart sections. I don't think anyone will really be able to notice apart from me, and that's intentional. I was going to knit even further on the sleeve, but I think the length that I have done is probably, yeah, it's a bit shorter than the one I'm wearing, but I think a lightweight one to go that will be quite warm because it's slightly denser than some of the other garments that I've done. I think this is going to be perfect with a lot of with my black dresses that I seem to be favouriting recently, and also my linen trousers, which are just something that I wear almost all the time, and my black jeans, obviously. So basically it's just going to be a nice, feel a bit more dressy and actually dressed than some of my other items that are just more sweater, like throw on garments. So I'm really happy with it. I am really happy with how my hand spun has knit up so far. I'm looking forward to blocking it, mostly so this stops pinging up. I think I did a few extra rows of ribbing on the sleeve, and I will probably keep trying on the v-neck whilst I'm wearing it, just to see if I need to do a few extra rows to bring it in. And yeah, I'm surprised that I've actually managed to finish the body and a sleeve since last time. I have been mostly knitting on gifts, not loads actually, and I wish I had time to do more gift knitting, but as you can imagine, if you're a knitter, you know how much time it takes, and whilst it's absolutely worth it, there's always a risk of it not being right. And I think that's the main issue I'm having with these socks, is that I don't have all the exact measurements, and I'm so nervous that it's going to be so much knitting wasted. But anyway, I'm really happy with my Nordiska. Yeah, it's looking good. I think this is one of my favourite combinations, and I think it was inspired by my Soldotna that I nearly ripped out / gave away, and I'm really glad I didn't, because it's something again that I've worn quite a lot recently, especially now I've got my black cardigan, my black top cardigan. Yeah, look at it. That's so cool. I'm very happy. So's Audrey just curled up on there. I think we should share a picture of you. Let's take one quickly, which I know is a bit uncouth, but you helping me do my video, Audrey? I feel like it is a weird time of year, and I did a short-ish video on my spinning wheel, which is really exciting, and in hindsight I should have shared more up and down of it, but to be honest I was really not very well, and I wanted to do something that used footage that I'd already been collecting, so I didn't have to sit and set things up all day. But it was really fun to share my wheel, and I did share this, which was, I'm not 100% sure, it's likely either BFL or blue tencel, but either way I love this. It's a gorgeous fibre, and I am going to chat with Linda to see if I can figure out what it is. Linda is the farmer slash shepherdess behind Strathern Fleece and Fibre. I purchased this when I went and had a chat with her back in 2020, and I was very kindly received a surprise package from Fellview Fibres, and a lovely dear friend that I really want to be able to chat with more, but life's just been life, sent a surprise bundle of fibres to me, and in it was this, and it came as Rolags, and it is this. So this is Old Stone Wool, I believe it was called, from Fellview Fibres, and there was merino, Icelandic, BFL, Shetland and Tussar silk in it, and I did another 2-ply, and I tried to do it similar weight to what I'd done here. I did a little bit of a higher twist. I think part of that was the silk. It made me want to spin it more. I'm not sure why. I think that's something that I'm going to have to learn, is to spin slicker fibres just a bit less, but I'm really happy with it, and I think these are going to be paired together. I'm not quite sure yet. Alex was mentioning that maybe he would like a cowl, so it might be for Alex. Maybe he will get a cheeky extra Christmas present after all. He will want something closer to the neck, maybe something that he can use as a face mask too, or at least to cover his nose and mouth. Yeah, really happy with this. I am really enjoying spinning. There's something so soothing about it, and I think it's the extra movement I get to do using my legs as well as my hands. Yeah, but I do really want to knit with it. I'm just a bit, I think I'm a bit nervous too, because these are my, well, I love the Nordiska too, and that hand spun, but I'm really enjoying the more recent hand spun I've done. I think they're the most knittable, and just, I'm very excited and yet nervous. You know, it's like having that really fancy spice or coffee in your house. You should really use it, because otherwise you're not going to get it at its best, but also it's nice to just sit and look at it for a bit and know that you have that joy to come. So yeah, that's those. I'm gonna have a quick sip of my I don't know why I did that. That was weird. I shared these quickly on an Instagram story, but I just wanted to show because I just thought they were really fun. They are wonky. My entire existence is a bit wonky, so. But I did my Christmas card for the year. It's not really that festive, the idea being that I can send it as thank you, or you're awesome, or, you know, anything that I want, but they're slightly festive because there's a little robin. Some of them I ended up painting over the robin to get rid of it, but it's a lino cut, and this sheep is a South Down sheep, as best as I could do. Inspired by the lovely fliss of the Wool Shred, who I recently did a kind of chatty interview with at Horsham Market, which was really lovely. I think what Fliss is doing is amazing and very inspiring, and inspired by that little chat I created my card using a lino cutter and some lino and just cut it out. And I like them because I can redo them and I could do it in a different colour. I could fill in the gaps by hand painting them. I've got lots of scope for future uses of these. And she very kindly was excited by them, so I recently printed off a few more, not printed off on the computer, hand printed, a couple of dozen more to send to her, so that's quite fun that the owner of said sheep is going to be sending them out to her flock, so to speak. Yeah, this is all recycled paper card. It's not the thickest, but I quite like it. And yeah, I just wanted to share that fun little make that I did. And then the other fun little make I did is just some very simple drawstring bags. Some of them are for people that are probably going to be receiving a little bit of yarn, just close friends from Watford that I'm sort of encouraging, hopefully, to join the fibre world just a little bit more. I've got, so these were just mostly just bits that I've had kicking around for years, but I also made one using some hammered cotton that I did 2 years ago. I've got a dear friend up in Scotland who this will be going to. She is always looking after us, putting us up at her lovely farm when we want to go and visit, and so I'm not quite sure what's going in here yet, but I just thought I'd share. This was a really fun thing to do, and it's something that I would like to spend more time with, and I finally found my hammer to do so. And we do have some nasturtiums, and the nasturtium leaves came out quite well, so I might actually do some of that very soon. And then the other ones are this, which Alex hand dyed himself botanically using turmeric when he did his sort of course with the Edinburgh Remakery, I believe it is. I think that's right. But yeah, I thought it was really fun because they've just been sort of bulldog clipped onto the wall for quite a long time, and it's just nice to use things like this for something that's kind of practical and usable. Yeah, very simple, very quick to make. I think I did these in a couple of hours, and it's just a nice way to give things too, because they can just be reused. And yeah, I thought that was fun. Finally, there's just so many lovely things. I will share this and maybe do a reading. I'm sorry, Yannicka. You tell me if you mind me reading it out of the letter that came with this, because it was a poem, a whole A4 poem, and it was perfect. And if I'm allowed to read it, I will, and I'll explain about what this is in here and why it is more than a very cool dice bag. But this, I know that my lovely friend Emmy is a quiet soul that just potters away and does very cool things and doesn't shout about it, and I would like to shout about it on her behalf. And in the letter I got when I received these, it said that she designed them, her husband had printed them, and these were the only set in existence. And I think there was 3 dots, and it said, "Should I make more?" And I think if anyone is interested, please do put in a comment or send TwoGnomesKnit a message on Instagram and tell her, because they're really cool. I will take them out of the packet, so insert elevator music. But they are moon phase stitch markers. This does them justice. But I think they're so cool. Imagine knitting a raglan and going round and you get in the moon phase. I just thought they were really beautiful, and I do think it would be a shame for others not to be able to have these. I am blown away by the kindness so frequently, and I am definitely a moon baby. yeah, but I love them, and I think she's very clever. I'm just beyond grateful that people think of me. I can't get over what this community and this platform has given me in terms of friendship and just kindness. So, as I say so blooming often, I really am grateful to have this space and those that join me in it week on week. Yeah, then I'll just give you a peek at this. Again, ridiculous. I sent a cardigan and some yarn to a dear friend who I talk about most weeks. There isn't currently a stitch marker on my Nordiska, but if there was, and there is one in the bag, and it is a Time Weaver stitch marker. And I talk about, and actually it looks a bit like this one, so I'll show you. I talk about Time Weaver stitch markers all the time, and I sent Nicole a package, and she melted my brain and sent me an advent calendar, and it's a bit of a hybrid, which, given that I've recently finished watching Vampire Diaries, I was stoked that it was called a hybrid. Anyway, if you know that, you know that. But this is just ridiculous, filled with the most beautiful handmade things. So a knit bar that just smells like I really want to eat it. I won't be that person. We did go to a wedding in October where we were given little beautiful little soaps in some little like Fibre bags, and 3 people on our table actually ate them. I'm not going to follow their suit. It was very funny, but I did think that I got put on the table with the lowest IQ, and probably rightfully so. But gorgeous. And then there's been all these beautiful progress keepers and stitch markers. I feel like I might have to share some of these, so... And I didn't want to say anything, but I am gonna be doing another giveaway thing at the end of the month, and I'm very excited to be doing so. I've been talking to Alex about doing something like it for months and months and months, and we couldn't quite figure out what it should be and how it should work, but he helped me. And there's like lovely little, so it's in both Spanish and English, because Nicole is amazing, speaks both, and is working with Ada Tintika. I can't believe it. It's too generous. And the book, on day 8 we got a book, and I've been doing it's not a bullet journal, it's my own sort of take on it, that I shared a blog post on Ko-Fi at the beginning of this year. I think it was my 6th year this year of having this very short, easy way of setting up my week, but this has actually got it, you know, in. So every week there's a page for you to write in and your week, and at the very back is a calendar which I've started to fill in already. So this was really exciting, because I usually don't get my book until the middle of January, and I get December, and then I get it to arrive so that I can spend New Year writing it out and making it and setting it up. But this year I don't have to, it's just done, and I can copy over my important bits that I have at the beginning of my book, and I can copy in important dates that I need to as and when they arrive already. So yeah, I just wanted to share. It's just really cute and really beautiful. It's a little collaboration with some fun illustrations and images in. I love that. And yeah, I just wanted to share my gratitude. I feel really weird talking about this sort of thing, but I really can't get over how just overly kind people are. So thank you very much. And even just a comment, the fact that people like yourselves spend time to just write, that's fun, or hope you're feeling better, etc. just is really bloody cool. So thank you very much. And I know I'm waffling again, so I will leave you with I hope that you are well. I hope that this week's kind to you and that you do take some time for yourself, no matter what that is, whether that's having a bath, maybe putting a candle on, maybe doing a guided meditation, maybe you just sit and knit for half an hour and just completely let yourself be engrossed by the knitting. Whatever it is to you, I hope that you do find some joy in your week. And with that, I hope to see you again very soon. Thank you so much for being here, and don't forget to love each other.